Righto. Here's that translation. And deep dive, rewrite you were after Aussie style. Crikey, that was a fair dinkum big job. I reckon I built my dream home for under 500 grand. I'm from the business office. By the way, gave it the go-ahead here in New Zealand, and I took a year off work, true blue, to build my family home on a bloody tough section, one that nobody else wanted. So, from the get-go, every plan felt like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You know how it is? In this video, I'll show you the whole kit and caboodle. The entire building process from start to finish, including some pretty schmick time lapses. The Prime Minister of New Zealand chucked a 4-week nationwide lockdown on us. And we'll break down some of the key details of that carry-on too. I don't want to be one of those builders who rocks up to a place and still has 1,000 jobs left to do. Yeah? Jobs that I just put off forever. Stick around till the end of the video. We'll have a yarn about the full cost of this build. Everyone and their dog, every builder you could poke a stick at, came to have a squiz of this block and got scared off for one reason or another. Just standing on the section, you could feel it. We locked it in unconditional. 1,600 square meters in a nice little suburban Upper Hutt, but fair dinkum, it was a tough site. Real early on, we were saying, this is the section nobody wanted, and the name stuck. There were a fair few issues with the site that I reckon had put a lot of blokes off the pass. It was on a bit of a slope, for starters. Access was from a right-of-way, and there was a bloody tight dog leg right at the start. That right-of-way was also shared with 2 other houses behind the site. There were a few drainage easements running right through the guts of the site, which restricted where you could build even more. There was a set of power lines feeding the neighbor's house running right across the site, and those needed to be dropped and buried. And to top it all off, there was a protected tatara tree right at the top of the section, where we would have ideally put our garage. Bugger. So, downstairs, we're going to build a basement garage, which makes the most of the natural lay of the land, yeah? Next to that, we're going to build a studio. Then we're going to have the main house upstairs, all on one level. Upstairs will be a pretty normal 3-bedroom, 2 living area house. We really wanted to make the most of the way the section faced and capture that north-facing sun. We've got 2 large outdoor spaces, both north-facing. Both will get that midday sun right through to early evening. Yeah, that's what we're planning to build. And that's what came out of the initial concept phase with Prime Designs. We are also well and truly through the working drawings for building consent and all that jazz. We've been making decisions about the best way to put those drawings together, you know, to really make the build as smooth as pos. Day just arrived at the section with the boys. My very first job. Joy to the world. I get to mow the bloody lawns because it's been sitting there empty for years and years and years. I had the lawn mower on the longest setting, and I didn't have a catcher on it, but it was going pretty good. Got to this last little bit where there's a bank going two ways, was pushing up, slipped, and my foot went right under and made the classic noise that you hear when you run over a stick or a twig. And the pain was immediate, excruciating, fair dinkum. Hang on a sec. Can't rule out a broken bone under an open wound. And you always have to be a bit careful with that. So I've asked the orthopedic registrar to come and have a look at it. They'll suss it out. Yeah, I had shoes on. They were actually trail running shoes. Most crazy thing is that right on the toe that got cut, it says toe protect. Had to have surgery. They were literally picking out shoe and grass out of the knuckle of my toe. Got stitched up and then had to spend 4 weeks in a moon boot off my feet. Pretty rough start, I tell you. Hoping that this wasn't going to be a bad omen for the entire job. You know, even though I've been through this quite a few times now, I still found myself surprised at how long things take and how many things you have to line up. And also how many decisions you need to make so early on before you can even see or touch anything on site. You're dissing down to some pretty fine details about the product you're going to use, how it's going to look, and you have to get that all on the plans. We forgot about lead times with people like engineers and pre-nailers, and how a couple of days delay here just has a flow-on effect. The plans are ready to go in. Look at this stack of paper. For every single consent that you submit, you have to include probably about 6 trees worth. Lovely, eh? So, you probably don't need anything else? Is all there? Yep. Just all that, and I'll get that through to the team. Cool. Thanks. The digger's here. What I've been setting up here is called a story rod. When you're working with slopes and wide sites, it's good to set up a board and mark your heights, yeah? And obviously double, triple check it. There's a laser over there, and now I can go around and shoot some heights. Here in the earthworks plan, you can see where we have to do our basement garage cut level at 70, 675, and our upstairs cut in the back corner here, we need to do it 72. It also shows you the batters we're cutting on these. You can also see here the drip line of protected trees. And this was a no-go zone throughout the build. I started setting the house out this week. And mate, it is the hardest set out I have done. There is not a single straight boundary to work on. The profile over in this corner is 3 meters out of the ground. And there's way too many corners on the house. Every 1,200 millimeters or 4 feet, I am marking one of these. And that's where I've got to dig a hole for the retaining post. One of the things that got picked up really early on was that this was an old gully that a bunch of fill had got pushed into. In some instances, good ground was 4 meters down. We worked with the engineer, and we came up with a plan where we decided to drill 450 millimeter holes, go all the way down to good ground, then fill those with concrete, and then put a standard house piling system on top of that. 57 holes. 57 holes I've had a drill on the side. Check out this. This bar is 4 meters long. The earthworks are officially finished. And now we can start the preparations for the foundation. I am absolutely shattered, mate. It's been a couple of long days, and my body is not used to it. Another week on site, a successful week. I've passed 2 inspections. I've passed my siding inspections, and I have passed my first engineer's inspection. So he was happy with the depth of the holes that we've drilled, and we are good to start our foundation works. Because of the nature of the site, the slopes, and the style of house we're building, we opted for a timber subfloor. However, we did pour a concrete slab for the garage. Here we are getting piles ready. These piles, and I'm sitting on a stack of timber. First delivery. It's a windy Monday morning here on site. I absolutely hated working in the rain when I was an apprentice. And now I'm out here slobbing away. It was wet. It was pouring down, but we had these 50 holes, and they were drilled, and I had to make a call on whether to pour them or not. It's crazy when you're an apprentice and you're like, oh, the rain, you can't be bothered. And then when it's your own site and you're involved, you somehow just get out here and do it. The rain just makes things so hard. It just makes like a normal job literally 3 times harder. Even at the end of the day, had to like empty my toolbox, empty my tools, dry them all out. That wasn't fun either. It's just kind of like it's not over when you get home. Every plan, it seems to be 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And I haven't encountered that for a long time. But then I've got to remind myself that this is not just your like typical flat subdivision. Just bang it up. It is a complicated site. It's a complicated design. And it's going to take a bit of thinking. As soon as all 57 holes were drilled and filled, we were able to crack on with building the concrete garage foundations. So we're boxing up the garage slab. That means that we create a hard surface for the concrete finish to. We're down over here, down in there. It was about 60 square meters, and it was a traditional 3604 slab with a footing around the perimeter. Had a bunch of piles in the footing, and had 4 piles in the middle of the garage slab to take any car loading or anything else you're doing in the garage. Yesterday was just one of those insane days where everything right from the start went wrong. I hired a compactor and then went to pull the start, and the starter cord was broken. So that was an hour of wasted time going getting a new one. Then I was back in the trailer at the house where I'm staying and clipped the neighbor's letterbox. So spent another hour fixing that. And then we went to start the steel last night and realized that they had sent all the wrong steel. The 66 square meter slab passed 2 inspections yesterday, and we are now good to pour concrete. So, all things considered, The fact that we only got our consent 2 weeks ago and we're about to pour concrete is a massive achievement and a big milestone for the site. It means that we're going to have a hard finished surface to work off, and the bill will start to get out of the ground. And that's where you start to get out of the unknown territory and into the known. One of the unexpected joys of logging my build was the factory tours that popped up along the way. One of the ones I remember the most is the Priel visit. So we made the trip out to the Kapiti Coast to see how they were fabricated off-site. You can look at the whole house in 3D, right? Well, that's the whole thing there. Yep, and I can put the trusses on for you. Even looking at like what the detailer did and how he gets it into the computer program. And the fact that we can turn the house around in every which angle and look at every stud, dang, and block. Definitely has given me more of an appreciation for what goes into those sets of frames that turn up the site. This is the subfloor framing for what's going to be a little 20-meter studio hanging off the front of our house as we're building the lower-level frames. We needed to install a big steel beam over the middle of the garage. The reason for this is that the mid-floor was made with timber joists, and they couldn't span the full 7 meters that the garage was. So we put the steel beam in the middle, and then we run our joists into that, and that takes all of that mid-floor load and sends it to the edge of the building and then down to the foundation. Just got a phone call to say the steel beam for our garage is ready. We could probably lift this beam if we really tried. I mean, it's only 150 kilograms, but the truck was coming past, and IDM was more than willing to help. Cheers, IDM, really appreciate it. It's in. The steel beam is in. That literally took less than 5 minutes. It would have taken us so much longer if we were trying to manhandle ourselves. Thanks again, IDM. Cheers. So, steel beams in, and we can now crack on with the rest of our beers and joists on the upstairs floor. And the last step to complete is flooring sheets. I'm standing on the final floor for the house. With only a couple days before Christmas, we got the floor finished. An amazing milestone considering that we only started building 9 weeks ago, and we've had our fair share of challenges. So, what I'm building here is a timber frame building, and here in New Zealand that is the most common way to build, and that's for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it is because we are a small island nation that has a plethora of sustainable forests growing here specifically for construction. The other thing is that New Zealand is reasonably earthquake prone, and timber frame buildings stand up to earthquakes really well. Also, we don't have a termite problem here. And we really don't have that many houses catching fire and burning down the way they used to in the early 1900s. Our timber is also treated against fungal decay and rot, and that's why our internal framing timber sometimes looks pink. Frames are up, nets are in, scaffolding is done. We can now crack on with the roof framing. We have 2 types of roofs here. We have an 8-degree rafter roof at the front and a 5-degree truss roof at the back. This is the roofing iron due to go on tomorrow. These are called purlins here. These here are called trusses over there. You can see the skylight box we've had to form. This is our hallway. And you can see there that will be one of the skylights that we are installing, and that will actually showcase our protected tree. That is the front roof over the lounge. There's another tree that we're not allowed to touch, but looks pretty amazing. Another massive milestone ticked off in the building. A huge amount of work dealing with the odd shape of the building because of the easements and because of the weird shape of the section. I counted up the other day. It has 18 corners on the exterior, and each corner has so much more work. Like literally. I reckon every corner adds another couple days of work that wouldn't be there if you just had this, normal box-shaped house. Here in New Zealand, most roofs are corrugated iron. This one here is a profile called MC700. It is a trapezoidal product. You can see here the roof detail is a mix of areas with overhangs, especially around openings, and no eaves where the cladding goes all the way up to the roof line. We've gone from earthworks to slab to frames up roof trusses, and now we have a roof. Once we got the roof on, we could crack on with RB board. On this job here, we use a Hardy's board, 5mm product called Home RB. It's basically like a solid skin around the whole building. It's like a first cladding. Big milestone at the section nobody wanted. Just about to cut my last sheet of RAB. Here's the building all wrapped up. In the lounge, I'll show you there's a sliding door. The architect was up here on the weekend, and we all decided that it would be better to move it a meter to the right to get more of the view of the hill. Pretty much I'm going to spend the morning unpicking some of the work we did last week and putting it back together. Usually reaching lockup is a massive and exciting milestone. This time has been a little bit different, however. The last few days have been a mad, frantic rush to get everything in place to close down and walk away. From 11:59 p.m. tonight, we will close our border to any non-residents and citizens attempting to travel here. As most of you know, on Monday afternoon, the Prime Minister of New Zealand announced a 4-week nationwide shutdown. And so, pretty much 1:30, everything that I had organized on this bill went out the window, and we went into closed down mode. I remember the week before lockdown. It was progressively getting worse. We were trying to stack up all the materials and all the orders we could carry the project on for the unknown future. Now that we have to walk away from this build and the timeline is super unknown, I'm so glad that I made the decision to install Redboard. It means that our house is fully weather tight, and this stuff can stand up to 180 days in the weather. I'm pretty confident I can get the cladding on before then. Obviously, I didn't know how long lockdown was going to take. That first they announced it for 4 weeks, that ended up stretching out to 6. And then we were able to go back to work with a really limited capacity. Lockdown was definitely a bit of a shock. What else is a shock? That only 22% of viewers subscribe. what are the other 78% you up to? Go ahead, click subscribe. It really does help us out. Morning, first day back to work. Decided to ride the bike up today. Won this car on site. Planning to get the weatherboard on and get the house fully closed in. We use a mix of linear, oblique, skinny, wide pattern and a timber cladding from a sustainable forest down south. Just about to head home. Very long day on site. Finish this wall here, and this wall here. And so, tomorrow we're going to move around the back and start cleaning over there. This wall here is already finished and painted. Spouting on doors in. We got to have a light either side of the door, an up-down light. And then we got those screws there. We pre-bolted for the deck. Painted a few walls over the weekend. This is what it's going to start looking like. Pretty happy with how it's coming up. A few more things to do on this wall before we can finish that off. And we'll be dropping this care hold soon. They will be exciting. The timber weatherboard was laid horizontally and had a brushed finish. The sheen on this combined with the dark look of the linear oblique really made the house pop, considering it was surrounded by so much greenery. We had a kitchen measure up on site really early on. We identified that the U-shaped peninsula didn't work, and we want an island bench that we could walk the entire way around. So mocked that up on site. Came up with some ideas to really elevate the space, but more importantly make it functional. That's essentially what you could sort of look at AB here, just a plain draw underneath. And here you got like a magic corner or something, so that PS out. Yo, so I'm just on site with literature. Cool kit, how's it going? We just done a prep pipe here for a heat pump. We're going for an 8 kW MIP electric up there. Stair have arrived. A little bit more work to do. Here it is. So good to have a set of steers in. This is going to be our big front door unit. So the door is 2 meters high. And then we have a big pane of glass above it, as well as a skylight in the entranceway. Here today's exciting job, super exciting. We get to install a Huss loader beam. We use a fiberglass product called Pink Bats, and I installed this myself. In my experience building homes, one of the best bang for buck upgrades you can include early on is insulation. And it really does make a difference to the comfort of the house you're living in. Today we have the beginning of another milestone. We have another delivery arriving in about 2 hours. Now we can line the walls with jib plastic. For this job here, I got an 8 crew for 2 reasons. I was busy continuing to work on other areas of the house, and they just smashed it out. Getting the jib on the walls is one of those immensely satisfying stages of the build. It's where it turns from this timber framing that you've been looking at for months to all of a sudden there's a wall that you can touch. I've got the plaster arriving tomorrow morning, Monday, and I didn't want to lose that slot. So I worked 6 days and 2 nights to get this house ready for plaster to arrive. This is our lounge over here. This is our kitchen here. So this room here will be the second lounge. We have paint on the walls, doors, skirtings, auras. Painters are just finishing up now, and we will have reached another milestone on the section nobody wanted. We are dropping the scaffold, and of course the day we plan to do this, it starts to rain. Painting is all complete, and the Sparkies have finished a lot of their work. So the very next step is hard floor. So that includes the wooden overlay that we have purchased, and it also includes tiles. There's 6 of us on site, and we're going hard installing tiles and floor. We have 900 meters of this beach overlay to go down. I love being a carpenter. I love timber. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. So it was a natural choice for me to do my interior floor with timber. However, I didn't realize it was going to take me 200 hours. We got tiles. After months of toiling away, we're finally at the stage where this house is starting to come together. Light switches, you can turn them around. An angle, then we want them pretty cool. It's Tuesday afternoon, and we are in the steel well today, putting on the white faces. We put the kitchen cabinets in, and we measure up our stone bench. It's all happening today. We got the digger driver, got a couple of builders inside, got some boys downstairs doing a deck. Everything that you've been planning working towards is starting to come together. A car goes here. Make sure you use the right colors to look in. Music. Yeah, ripper cut. Music. Sure, music. I reckon I don't want to be one of those blokes that moves into a place and still has 1,000 jobs they just put off forever. On top of all this, a fireplace is really important to me. It doesn't feel like home if it hasn't got one. Righto. Cobber. Let me tell you, getting this yarn ready for you was a real blue. Thought I'd never see the end of it. Anyways, I reckon I've managed to build my dream home for under $500,000 reduce. And just so you know, I work in the business office, so I know a thing or two about keeping things on budget. I gave the whole project a thumbs up right here in New Zealand, and I even took a year off work. Fair dinkum I did, to build my family home on this section of land that was a proper mongrel. No one else wanted to touch it with a barge pole. So, right from the word go, every plan felt like 2 steps forward and 1 step back. You know how it is? It's enough to make you want to chuckle wobbly. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the whole shebang, from go to woe. You'll see the entire building process. And I've even chucked in some ripper time lapses to make it look schmick, of course. Then the Prime Minister of New Zealand had to go and throw a spanner in the works by slapping a 4-week nationwide lockdown on us. We'll have a bit of a chin wag about that whole carry-on as well, and how it affected everything. I'm not about to be one of those dodgy builders who rocks up to a place and still has 1,000 little jobs left to do yet. You know, those jobs that just get put off forever and a day. Nah, not me. So, stick around to the end of the video, and we'll have a proper yarn about the full cost of build. Break it all down for you. You wouldn't believe how many blokes, every Tom, Dick, and Harry builder you could poke a stick at, can't have a squiz at this block and got scared off. Too hard basket, they reckon. Just standing on the section, you could feel the bad juju. But we locked in unconditional 1,600 square meters in a pretty bonzy little suburb in Upper Hutt. But fair dinkum, it was a bloody tough sight. Right from the start we were saying, this is the section nobody wanted, and wouldn't you know it, the name just stuck like glue. There were a fair few problems with the site that I reckon had scared off a lot of potential buyers in the past. It was on a bit of a slope for a start. Access was via right of way, and there was a bloody tight dog leg right at the entrance. And that right of way shared with two other houses behind the site. Talk about a squeeze. Then there were a few drainage easements running right through the guts of the block, which put even more restrictions on where we could build. And to make matters even worse, there was a set of power lines feeding the neighbor's house running right across the middle of everything. Those had to be dropped and buried, which cost a pretty penny. And to top it all off, the cherry on the cake, there was a protected tatara tree right at the top of the section, smack bang where we would have ideally put our garage. Talk about a bug. So the plan is downstairs. We're going to build a basement garage, which takes advantage of the natural lay of the land, yeah? We'll try to work with the terrain rather than against it. Next to that, we're going to build a studio. Then we're going to have the main house upstairs, all on one level. Keep it simple. Upstairs will be a pretty stock standard 3-bedroom, 2 living area house. Not too fancy, just comfortable and functional. We really want to make the most of the way the section face. Try and capture that beautiful north-facing sun. We got 2 large outdoor spaces, both north-facing. So both of those areas will get that gorgeous midday sun right through till the early evening. Yeah, that's the grand plan. And that's what we came up with in the initial concept phase with Prime Designs. They're a clever bunch. Those guys were also well and truly through the working drawings for building consent and all that jazz. Honestly, the paperwork alone could fill a skip. We've been making some pretty crucial decisions about the best way to put those drawings together. You know, to really grease the wheels and make the build as smooth as possible. That's the aim of the game. Anyway, Dave just arrived at the section of boys. My very first job. Oh, joy to the world. I get to mow the bloody lawns. The things you do when it's your own place. The reason I'm stuck doing the lawns is because it's been sitting there empty for years and years and years. Neglected. I had the lawnmower set on the longest setting, and I didn't have a catcher on it. Just blasted everywhere, but it was going pretty good, actually, until I got to this last little bit where there's a bank going I was pushing up, lost my footing, slipped, and my foot went right under. Made that classic, sickening noise that you hear when you run over a stick or a twig. Except this wasn't a twig. And the pain, immediate, excruciating, fair dinkum. It was a shocker. Hang on a sec. Gotta get this checked out. Can't rule out a broken bone under an open wound. And you always have to be extra careful with that kind of thing. So, I've asked the orthopedic registrar to come and have a bit of squiz at it, assess the damage. He'll suss it out, tell me what's what. Yeah, I definitely had shoes on. They were actually trail running shoes. Good quality ones. The most unbelievable thing is that right on the toe that got cut, it says toe protect. Talk about irony. Turns out I had to have surgery. The surgeons were literally picking bits of shoe and grass out of the knuckle of my toe. All stitched up. I then had to spend 4 weeks hobbling around in a moon boot. Couldn't put any weight on it. Crikey, what a rough start. I tell you, I was really hoping that this wasn't going to be a bad omen, a sign of things to come for the entire job. You know, even though I've been through this building caper quite a few times now, I still found myself surprised at how long everything takes, and how many different things you have to line up just to get the ball rolling. And also, the sheer number of decisions you need to make so early on before you can even see or touch anything on site. You're descending down to some pretty fine details about the products you're going to use, what's all going to look like, the color scheme, everything. And you have to get all of that down on the plans, set in stone. We totally forgot about the lead times of people like the structural engineers and the pre-nailers, and how even a couple of days delay here and there can have a flow-on effect down the line, putting the whole project behind schedule. The plans are finally ready to go in for consent. Have a look at this ridiculous stack of paper. For every single consent application that you submit, you have to include enough paper to kill probably about 6 trees. Isn't that just lovely, eh? All that for a green bill. So, you probably don't need anything else from me, then? Is everything there? Yep, that's all there. Thank you very much. I'll get that straight through the team. Cool. Thanks heaps. The digger's finally here. Time to get this show on the road. What I've been setting up here is called a story rod. When you're working with sections on slopes and with wide sites like this one, it's a good idea to set up a board and clearly mark your heights on it. Yeah? That way, you know where you stand. And obviously, you need to double, triple check it just to make sure everything's spot on. Accuracy is key. There's a laser over there set up on its tripod. And now I can go around the site and shoot some heights. See where we're at. Here in the earthworks plan. You can see exactly where we have to do our basement garage cut level at 675 meters. And our upstairs cut in the back corner here, which we need to do at 72. 925 meters. The plans also show you the batters that were putting on these cuts. It's all very technical, but crucial to get right. You can also see here the drip line of that protected territory. And this was a complete no-go zone throughout the entire build. We couldn't go anywhere near it. I started setting the house out this week. And mate, I gotta tell you, it is without a doubt the hardest set out I have ever done in my life. There is not a single straight boundary to work off. Talk about a challenge. The profile over this corner is a whopping 3 meters out of ground, and there are way too many corners on the house. Makes everything so much more complicated. Every 1,200 millimeters or 4 feet, I am marking one of these points, and that's where I've got to dig a hole for retaining posts. One of the things that we picked up on really early on in the process was that this was actually an old gully that a whole bunch of fill had been pushed into over the years, which meant that in some instances, good, solid ground was 4 meters down. That's a long way. So we worked closely with the engineer, put our heads together, and we came up with a pretty clever plan where we decided to drill 450 millimeter holes, go all the way down to the good ground, right down to bedrock, and fill those holes completely with concrete. And then we put a standard house piling system on top of that. 57 holes. Can you believe it? 57 holes I've had to drill on this bloody side. Check this out. This steel reinforcing bar is 4 meters long. That's how deep we're going. The earthworks are officially finished, completed, done and dusted. And now we can finally start the preparations for laying the foundations. I am absolutely shattered, knackered, worn out, mate. It's been a couple of bloody long days. And my body is just not used to all this physical labor anymore. Getting old, I suppose. Another week on site. Another successful week. Thankfully, I've managed to pass 2 pretty crucial inspections. I passed my siting inspections, and I have also passed my first engineer's inspection. So, the engineer was happy with the depth of all the holes that we've drilled, and he gave us the all clear to start all the foundation works. Phew! Because of the challenging nature of the site, all the slopes and angles, and the overall style of the house we're building, we opted for a timber subfloor, seemed the best and most practical solution. However, we did decide to pour a concrete slab for garage, just for extra stability. Here we are, getting the piles all ready to go. These piles are vital to the whole thing. And here I am, sitting on a huge stack of timber, our first delivery of wood. It's a windy Monday morning here on site, blowing a gale, actually. I absolutely hated working in the rain when I was just an apprentice. And now here I am, the boss, out here slobbing away in the wet. Life's funny, eh? It was wet. It was absolutely pouring down buckets of it. But we had these 50 holes already drilled and ready to go. And I had to make a judgment call on whether to pour the concrete or not. If I didn't do it, we'd be set back days. It's crazy. When you're an apprentice, you're just like, oh, the rain. I can't be bothered. Can't wait to get inside. And then when it's your own site, your own project, and you're really involved, you somehow just get out here and do it, no matter what the weather throws at you. The rain just makes everything so much harder. It literally makes what would normally be a pretty standard job about 3 times harder, at least. Even at the end of the day, I had to completely empty my toolbox, take all my tools out, dry them all out one by one. That wasn't fun either. You know, it's just kind of like the work's not really over when you get home. It drags on and on. Every plan, it seems, is 2 steps forward and 1 step back. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And I haven't encountered that kind of frustration for a long time. But then I've got to remind myself that this isn't just your typical flat, easy subdivision where you can just bang up a house in no time at all. This is a complicated site. It's a complicated design. And it's all going to take a bit of careful thinking and a whole lot of hard yakking. As soon as all 57 holes were drilled, inspected, and then filled with concrete, we were able to crack on with building the concrete garage foundations. So that's what we're doing now, boxing up the garage slab. What that means is that we're creating a nice, hard surface, a mold for the concrete to be finished to. We're down over here, down in there, working away. The garage slab is roughly about 60 square meters in total. And it's a traditional 3604 slab with a footing. Gave me the experience to draw on for the next one. I took different lessons from different sites and combined them to sort out the plans. Once the plans are sorted, it's just like building a Lego set. You just have to follow the instructions. So you have to have the physical skills to be a builder, which you get from working on building sites. But you also have to have the experience and knowledge. And that comes from doing a variety of different projects. You need to have the capacity, the brain power. A project like this needs a massive amount of decision making. A lot of lying in bed at night, thinking, right, do I make the cut here or here? And how do I join that to this? To have that capacity, I took a year off work. It wasn't just about being physically on site to build. It was about mentally making this project my only focus and doing it to the best of my ability. Lastly, you need the financial resources to bankroll something like this. I bought my first house when I was 19. It was a rental, and I never lived in it. I held on to it all through my 20s while I was traveling. Then, when my son was 2, in 2018, we bought a family home. I was running a building company and getting better at it, taking on bigger deals, and I'd done a few of my own spec builds. We sold everything, put the cash in the bank account, and used that cash to build this house. That little pot of gold was about $800,000. That was my life savings at the time. No bank loans. That was my absolute limit to build this house. Before we dive into the figure for the build, a couple of quick disclaimers. Firstly, this was back in 2019, pre-COVID prices. At the time, build rates were around $2,500 to $3,000 a square meter. That includes the builder's time management and profit margin. Obviously, I was able to save a chunk of that myself. The second thing is that I was already in the industry and had a good reputation with suppliers. And I was starting this YouTube channel. So, using the channel and my rep, I managed to negotiate some really good deals on materials. Obviously, there are heaps of items that go into a full breakdown. Today, we're just going to do a quick run through some of the main costs. We spent $265,000 on a section, and I put $30,000 aside to fix the drainage and power issues. I reckon I did that all up for about $15,000 and fixed all the section's problems. So, let's say we're all in, including lawyer's fees and all that stuff, for about $285,000. Now, that's a fair bit of dosh, but back then a small 400 square meter section in central Auckland was going for about $400,000. So, for the bargain price of $285,000, I got a 1,600 square meter section in a pretty flash suburb, which I then needed to get plans drawn up for. Plans, design fees, engineers' fees, council fees. All up, that came to about $25,000. Again, I was leaning on as many people as I could get it through. Excavation was $6,000. Drilled piles were $8,000. And a 66 square meter slab cost $72,000. Mid-floor materials and labor, with a couple of blokes helping out, cost $24,000. Frames were $22,000. Spouting and roofing was $119,000. And building materials, including cladding, was $70,000. I got a deal from Hardee's on that. Stairs were $2,000. Insulation was $5,500. Pink Bats gave that all to me. The garage door was $22,000. Windows were $21,000. Electrical was $22,000. Plumbing was $15,500. The gas infinity and gas-fired downstairs cost $2,000. Drainage cost $7,500. The heat pump cost $3,500. The duct system cost $2,500. The fire and the wetback cost $2,000. And the plastering inside was $6,500. We spent $2,000 to paint the outside ourselves and $12,500 to pay a painter to do the inside. The doors were $7,500. The kitchen was $20,000. The appliances were $6,000. $2,000 on carpet. $5,000 on tiles. $3,000 on shower glass. And the wooden flooring was $8,000, plus 200 hours of labor and $1,000 worth of glue. Bathroom fittings cost $10,000. Concrete driveways were $5,000. Landscaping planter box at the start was $6,000. The deck was $18,000. Blind were $2,000, and the wardrobes were $3,000. The steel portal for the deck cost $2,000, and the steel beam for the garage cost $800. Bearing in mind that includes all the landscaping work that carried on afterwards, probably another $50K of materials again, with all my time for free. All up at the start, I had just under $800K, 265 for the section, around 465 to build, and everything else. The final product was valued in the mid-ones, and I was stoked with it. The process of building a house from start to finish for yourself is so rewarding, so taxing. It's such a big journey, but it's really kicked off this YouTube channel, kicked off my building company, and I'm about to do it all over again on a whole new section. I'll give you a sneak peek of that right now. Check out that build up there. Nestled into the hill and surrounded by Remu and Manuka, it's got an amazing view of the Hutt Valley and the terrariums. We're going to do a weekly on-site vlog explaining the process. On top of that, we'll include a monthly deep dive with a key partner. For example, we'll visit the factory to see where the products are made, and then document coming to site and being installed in our beautiful home. We'll also do a weekly reel on TikTok, highlighting a collab with one of our partners. And we'll continue to post photos and stories to our Instagram. Yo, you've made it all the way to the end. And now this is your special message just for you, because you got here first, pal. Thanks so much. It's viewers like you that boost our numbers and keep us making stuff like this. I just want to say that I love what I get to do. I love building houses. I love filming it. And I love showing you. It's a truly rewarding process, and I really encourage you, you're obviously into this kind of thing, to find a way to make your dream, your project come to life. Take that huge big thing and break it down into little bite-sized chunks. Ask yourself, how can I do X, Y, Z? How can I get the money? How can I solve the problems on this site? How can I bring this vision to reality? The cool thing is, your brain is so smart. And when you ask it a question while you're going about your day, while you're driving, while you're working, while you're digging holes, your brain is working away. All of a sudden you have this aha moment. And your mind will be like, this is how you do it. And the next thing you do, the moment your brain says, do this, you gotta write it down, and then you gotta get in there and give it a go. Obviously, day one of this site, I cut my foot. It's a big step backwards. Any big project I've done is always 5 steps forward, 1 step back. Don't get disheartened when you take that first step forward and you get knocked back straight away, like I did with the lawnmower on day one. You gotta keep showing up, keep stepping forward. A house like this, any building project, is an accumulation of 1,000 little steps. Remember, 1,000 little steps adds up to a massive thing. Take the first step today to tell everyone about this video, and comment below. You are awesome! Music intro, righto, top-notch snip that. Music fades, quiet now. Music gave us the experience I needed to crack on to the next one. No worries, I'd be nicking ideas from all over the shop and cobbling them together to net out the plans. Once you got the plan sorted, it's dead easy, like building a Lego set. Just follow the instructions, mate. So, you need the hands-on skills of a builder, which you get from grafting on building sites. But you also need the know-how and the smarts that comes from mucking about on different kind of projects. You've got to have the capacity, the brain power. A project like this means making a shed load of decisions, lie in bed at night thinking, right, do I make the cut here or there? And how do I join that up to this? To have that kind of focus, I took a year off work and made that project my only focus and gave it everything I had. Last but not least, you gotta have the dosh to make something like this happen. I bought my first house when I was 19. It was a rental, and I never actually lived in it, but I hung on to it all through my 20s while I was gallivanting around. Then, when my son was 2, we bought a family home in 2018. I was running a building company, getting better and better and doing more and more deals. And I'd done a few developments myself. We sold a lot and bunged the cash into a bank account, and then used that money to build this house. That little pile of gold was about $810,000 dues. That was my life savings at the time, and with no bank loans, that was the absolute limit to build this house. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the build costs, here are a couple of quick heads-ups. Firstly, this was back in 2019, before COVID, and back then, building rates were roughly between $2.5 and $3 grand a square meter. Obviously, that covers the builder's time, management costs, and their cut. I was able to save a fair bit of coin by doing a lot of the work myself. Secondly, I was already in the game, had a solid rep with heaps of suppliers, and was kicking off this YouTube channel. So, by using the channel in my good name, I could haggle some bonds of deals on materials. There are a stack of individual things that go into a full rundown. But today we're going to have a squiz at some of the main costs. We splashed out $265,000 on the block, and I set aside another $30,000 to sort out the drainage and power dramas. I reckon I got it all done for about $15,000, which fixed all the sections problems. So, all up, including the lawyer's fees and all that jazz, we were looking at around $285,000. Now, that's a fair whack of money. But back then, a dinky 400 square meter block in central Auckland was going for about $400,000. So, for the bargain price of $285,000, I got a 1,600 square meter block in a ripper suburb, which then needed plans. The plans, including the design fees, engineers' fees, and council fees, came to around $25,000. Again, I leaned on as many contacts as possible to get it through. Excavation was $6,000. Drill piles were $8,000, and a 66 square meter slab cost $72,000. The mid-floor materials and the labor, I got a couple blokes in to lend a hand, came to $24,000. The framing was $22,000. The spouting and roofing was $119,000. And the building materials, including the cladding, were $70,000. I managed to get a good deal from Hardee's on that. The stairs were $2,000. The insulation was $5,500. But Pink Bats gave it all to me. Good on him. The garage door was $22,000. The windows were $21,000. The electrical work was $22,000. And the plumbing came to $155,000. The gas infinity system and the gas fireplace downstairs cost $2,000. Drainage was $72,000. The heat pump was $32,000. And the duct system cost $22,000. The fire and the wetback cost $5,200. The plastering inside was $6,500. We spent $1,200 painting the outside ourselves, and $12,000 paying a painter to do the inside. The doors cost $7,000. The kitchen was $20,000. The appliances were $6,000. The carpet was $7,200. The tiles were $7,500. And the shower glass was $2,300. The wooden flooring was $8,000, plus 200 hours of graft and $1,000 for glue. The bathroom fittings were $10,000. The concrete driveway was $7,500, and the landscaping planter box we built at the start cost $6,000. The deck was $18,000. The blinds were $2,000, and the wardrobes were $3,000. The steel portal for the deck cost $2,000. And the steel beam for the garage cost $800. Keep in mind that covered all the extra landscaping work that went on afterwards, which was probably another $50,000 worth of materials, and all my time was free. In total, at the start I had just under $800,000. $265,000 for live, and around $465,000 for the building and everything else. The finished product was valued in the mid-ones, and I was stoked as with that. The whole shebang of building a house from scratch by yourself is so satisfying, so bloody tiring, and such a massive journey. It's also really given this YouTube channel a kickstart, got my building company humming, and now I'm about to do it all again on a brand new block. I'll give you a sneak peek of that right now. Check out that build up there. It's tucked into the hill, surrounded by Rimu and Manuka trees, and it's got a cracker view of the Hutt Valley and the Toreros. We're going to do a weekly vlog on-site explaining what's going on. We'll also do a monthly deep dive with a key partner. For example, heading to the factory to see where the product are made and showing them tinting up on site and getting installed in our beautiful home. We'll also post a weekly reel on TikTok showing off a yarn with one of our partners. And we'll keep chucking up photos and stories on Instagram. You made it all the way to the end. So here's a special message just for you. Because you're the first one here. Mate, cheers heaps. It's legends like you that boost our numbers and keep us making stuff like this. I just want to say that I love what I do. I love building houses. I love filming. And I love showing it to you. It's a proper, rewarding thing to do. So I'd really encourage you, if you're into this kind of stuff, to suss out a way to make your dream project come to life. Take this massive, scary thing and chop it up into little, easy bits. Ask yourself, how can I do this or that? How can I find the dough? How can I fix the dramas on this side? How can I make this idea a real thing? Thing is, your brain is bloody clever. And when you ask it a question, why you spend all your day driving, working, digging holes, your brain is ticking away, and all of a sudden you'll have a bright idea. And your brain will go, this is how you do it. As soon as your brain goes, do this, you've got to write it down, get in there, and give it a crack. Fair dinkum. On day one of this site, I sliced my foot open, which was a step backwards. But any big project I've done is always 5 steps forward, then 1 step back. Don't get too down when you take that first step forward and get knocked straight back, like I did with the lawnmower on day one. You just gotta keep tinning up, keep moving forward, and remember that a house like this, any building job, is just heaps of little things added together. Right, G-Day folks, and S here. Give us a cheer for another Ripper episode. This week, we're up in the hills of Evergreen, Colorado, about to have a captain cook at this Bonza modern chateau right behind me. This house, she was built back in 2015. They were getting inspiration from the Biltmore estate in Asheville, North Carolina, which is fair dinkum, one of the most iconic properties in the whole bloody world. This place has got heaps of architectural details and gawks out towards the grouse views of mountains here in Evergreen, Colorado. Righto, let's get down to the nitty-gritty on this beauty. We've got 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, 21,692 square feet interior space, all built on a whacking 35, 1 acre block. And this property is currently on the market for a cool $11,999,000. As per usual, we'll leave more info about the property down in the description, so give it a burrow. And before we start our tour, I want to give a massive shout out to all the listing agents for letting us have a sticky beat at their amazing listing and share it with you live. And now, let's get this tour underway. Right, upbeat music. Before we get stuck into the tour, I want to thank this week's video sponsor, BetterHelp. If there's something playing up with your happiness or stopping you from reaching your goals, BetterHelp can lend a hand with that. In my own life, being a businessman and a former professional athlete, I've copped a fair bit of mental challenges, which I managed to get over through professional counseling. I was lucky enough to be able to get professional counseling, but it wasn't always something that was available for everyone. Now with BetterHelp, professional counseling is accessible, affordable, and convenient as BetterHelp will suss out your needs and match you up with your very own licensed professional therapist. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online. You can log into your account and send a message to your counselor directly. Not to mention the service is available to clients all over the globe. You'll get prompt and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. So you won't ever have to sit in a dodgy, uncomfortable waiting room like with traditional therapy. There's a wide range of expertise in BetterHelp's 15,000 plus counselor network, which might not be available locally in many areas. BetterHelp's dead set committed to making great therapeutic matches. And it's easy as in free to change your counselors if you need to. The best part is, it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is up for grabs. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. So, sign up now and you can start yakking with a counselor within 48 hours. Visit BetterHelp.com/NS. That's better H-E-L-P. To join over 1 million people who are taking charge of their mental health with the help of experienced professionals. They're also giving a special discount to our audience. If you go to BetterHelp.com/NS, you can get 10% off your first month. Cheers, BetterHelp, for sponsoring this video. And now, let's get back to our tour. The house is nestled in a private gated community here in the mountains of Evergreen, Colorado. And from the street level, we've got this covered entry that leads us to the motor court. But before we head there, this door on my right-hand side opens up to the 2-car garage on this wing. And this floor on my left-hand side opens up to a Ripper wine cellar. Now, as we keep going, we head straight into this grouse motor court, and we've got the house right in front of us. Before we cover this section, I want to turn to this side, where we can see the hillside and how they've carved out this mountain to place this motor court. It's incredible, sort of a cool backdrop to look at. And as we face toward the home, we've got 2-car garages on the left, 2-car garages on the right, all opening up to this Bonza circular motor court. Now, let's have a yarn about the house itself. It's a beautiful, timeless design that looks like a chateau or a modern-day castle. And as I mentioned earlier, it was built in 2015. So, even though it's got this timeless classical look, it's actually very modern and up-to-date on the inside. It gawks out towards the amazing views. I'm really leaking this limestone exterior clad, which was brought from Austin, Texas. I know this hits home for Mikey and myself. We used to live in Texas. Mikey, that's right. And there are just tons of details with these dormers. And I love those carved statues right underneath those dormers. They look really unique. I mean, have a G's at all the intricate details with the columns. Ionic details. This is just stunning. We got the steep roof line, again giving that more of a castle or a chateau look. I could go on forever about the exterior. I mean, check out the proportions, where everything is so symmetrical with these windows, dormers, kickouts, and columns. This is just incredible. I feel like I'm walking into a fairy tale here. It's so unique and different. Mikey. Yeah, and I gotta say, this home is just extremely solid. You can tell this is just really, really well built. Yeah, with this real limestone clad on the exterior, the whole thing's a steel structure with concrete floors. This is definitely a solid home. Mikey, let's go inside. Righto, let's check it out. Righto, everyone, here we are at the entry. We got beautiful marble floors here with the inlay design and 2 hallways that take you to each wing of this home. As we continue, this door opens up to a Ripper powder room for this level. And here we are at the grand entry with 2-story ceilings and this gorgeous chandelier above. Tons of architectural details, which we're going to have a chat about in a bit before we get onto the interior spaces. And this might be a bit unconventional. I want to take everyone outside because this property gets some of the best views we've ever seen on this channel. And I know I bang on about that quite often, but have a sticky beak at this. It's so quiet. Look at all these treetops, these mountain views. We got Mount Evans in the back, which still has some snow on it. It looks incredible. I really appreciate the color variations and differences in height on this backdrop. That looks unreal. It's a great view. Mikey, yeah, it's really nice. And even though it looks like we're really secluded out in the middle of nowhere, like at a national park or something, we're only about 40 minutes from Denver, from the heart of Denver. Mikey from the heart of Denver. So this morning it took us about 45 minutes to get here. It's amazing, and you can kind of have the seclusion, and this kind of privacy and be that close to the city, which is unreal. Now, we're out here. This is a wraparound balcony that picks up the office on the other side, which we'll have a look at in a bit. And I really appreciate this limestone exterior clad that they've got. It's been brought from Austin, Texas. Looks grouse. We can kind of have a closer look here. Now, let's step back inside and keep going with our tour. We're back again at the grand entry, and going through this way, we got the formal living room and formal dining room. Let's start with a formal dining room, a bonza table that seats 10 people, 2-story ceilings here. You can actually kind of see the staircase or the walkway on the second floor from here. I really appreciate these Corinthian columns that kind of give tons of character to the interior of the home, matching the exterior a little bit. As we go this way, we've got the formal living room area or the seating area, a grouse L-shaped couch set up, these massive windows from floor to ceiling looking towards those unreal views that we pointed out right at the balcony. This is amazing, and I really appreciate that they put these small awning windows on the bottom. We're going to get some fresh air while keeping the picture windows on top. We got this amazing ceiling treatment here that kind of complements the space. I'm really liking the lighting they did all around it. Let's see, on this side, we got a French door opening up to the same balcony that we showed you a lot earlier. And this massive gas fireplace, as big as myself, complementing this room with a TV above. Again, same limestone details were also brought into the interiors with this gorgeous stone cladding that we got around the gas fireplace. Mikey, yeah, it's really nice. And I love this room and these huge windows. It's June right now, but I could really imagine sitting here in the middle of the winter and having a fire going, and it's snowing outside. It'd be one of the most relaxing places ever. No worries about it. I can see that as well. A couple more things I want to mention here before we kind of leave this section and talk about the kitchen. Number one, we got another French door opening up to an outdoor balcony on this level, which is right here. Again, getting the amazing views. And the ceiling heights here are pretty impressive. I love these barrel designs that they've got throughout. These are certainly not easy details to pull off. We're going to see them pretty much throughout the property. Now, Mikey, let's come to this section right here and start yakking about the kitchen. The kitchen kind of has two sections. We kind of have a bar area, a prep area between the formal living room and the main kitchen. We got a Bonza steel farmhouse sink here, looking towards the amazing views. Thanks to this picture frame right here, seeing the balcony and the views. Two-tone cabinetry, trash compactor, dishwasher, and we got the island on this side with the bar seat in. Darker tones. Let's see, paneled in small fridge, the microwave setup. And Mikey, can we point up the ceiling for a sec? Have a sticky beak at this barreled ceiling design here with brick finish, LED lighting and Corinthian columns. The amount of detail that's on the ceiling is unreal. Mikey, yeah, this was the first thing I noticed when I walked in here. And it's something we've never seen anywhere before, but it kind of makes the whole thing feel a little bit more rustic, like a wine cellar almost. No doubt about it. This home wasn't a spec home. This was a home for the owners, the current owners. So it's fully custom designed. They thought about every little detail. In fact, I almost forgot. I would have really hated myself if I'd forgotten this detail. Mikey, can you come on this side? We got this etched glass panel in on this side, and the other side of this island kind of has a logo and branding and the style of this home. Mikey, yeah, it's really cool. I guess it's like a custom crest for this home, right? Yeah, and we're going to see this kind of glass detailing throughout the property. Now, as we keep going this way, I said the kitchen kind of has two sections because this is where we kind of got the main kitchen side of it, complemented with a small breakfast nook. I say small, but you've got all these windows looking toward the amazing views, a gorgeous chandelier above. The ceiling height here with this kind of vaulted ceiling design must be around 25 feet. We definitely have some volume here. And another exterior door that opens up the balcony. Now, let's cover the kitchen. We got a beautiful La Cornue gas stove here. I've never seen this finish on a La Cornue stove before. It kind of looks stealth and kind of timeless. Mikey, all stainless, right? It is stainless, but it has more of a flat patina, if that makes sense. It looks gorgeous. Also, we've never seen this before on our channel. A cabinet or countertop mounted pot filler. Mikey, it only gets better. I thought with pot fillers, we'd seen all the pot fillers. We're 11 in it. Mikey, exactly. We got a pop-up vent right in front of it, another bar C10. On this side, we got the main sink for the kitchen, and I love how they've kind of kept it open and float these cabinets above, so you kind of have the street feeling. You can kind of see everyone around the house. It's definitely a family home. That's a trash compactor and a second dishwasher. Right behind me, I know you're gonna like this. First off, check out all this limestone detailing on this pizza oven. Who's got that? Mikey, why would you assume I would like that? Well, I like pizzas? Mikey, what are you trying to say? Okay, yeah, I like pizzas, which is awesome. Check out all the detail in here. As we keep going, let's see, we got a steam oven, a regular conventional oven, and I believe a freezer and fridge nicely. Mikey, you kind of brushed over that. What's a steam oven? I would assume it cooks with steam. I just want to make sure I'm correct on my facts. But, Mikey, I know there's going to be someone in the comments section who's like, what's a steam oven for? If someone knows in real detail what a steam oven does and why it's different from conventional ovens, let us know. Mikey, we're all ears. Absolutely. Pantry space. And the pantry continues on the other side. Mikey, let's go back now. I want to briefly establish where we are. We got the family room, the dining area, and this hallway takes us here. More built-ins. All these French doors open up to the motor court. And this door right here opens up to the two-car garage that leads us to the motor court. Right here, we've got a nice laundry room connected from the pantry, which leads you to another room where we've got a doggy wash. Lead in to an outdoor space. Mikey, really cool. And I've never seen an entire room dedicated to washing dogs, but they've got those tiles, custom tiles of dogs in there and everything. Absolutely, righto. So we're back at the kitchen. Now I want to take this hallway and show you a lot the primary bedroom. But before we do that, let's take a quick moment and really appreciate the staircase design, which they've got on both wings of the home. This is all built out of limestone, from the stairs to the railing, everything, right underneath the top of the railings. We've got these beautiful wrought iron designs that wrap around the entire property. This home has 4 levels. So when you look from the top, you can really see the size and the volume of the property, which is kind of astonishing. Mikey, yeah, it was a scary bureau to get. Absolutely, I can imagine. Overall, the staircase is great. One of them goes to 3 levels, and the other one goes to 4 levels. And I'll explain why later in the video. Now let's take this hallway. Again, French doors opening up to the motor court. We're back at the entry. And as we continue, more of these French doors are again opening up to the motor court. And this right here leads us to the office. Beautiful hardwood floors. Another gas fireplace to cozy up the space. French doors opening up to the first balcony that we saw earlier. What's so impressive about this room is the 2-story ceilings here. And we can actually see the railing throughout. Because right above us, we actually have kind of gallery space where you can walk around this entire room. Again, we'll see that later. Desk set up on this side. More built-ins get a lot of natural light. And we're going to see a lot of beautiful chandeliers and wall sconces throughout. We've got some right here. And this wall kind of kicks out a little bit, which is kind of interesting. And I'm going to explain that right now because it's super cool. It's a unique detail. This is where we got the secondary staircase with the same design element. It looks grouse. I love the curvature. You can actually see all those kind of glazed windows from the exterior as well. And Mikey, let's point out this section. That closed off section is your elevator shaft. The current owners didn't place an elevator, but in the future, if you'd like to have one, they've got the full concrete frame going all the way to the top floor, so you can easily do that. Mikey, and this home is 4 stories, so it might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea. Absolutely. Righto. Before we go to the primary bedroom, we've got this hallway taking us to the 2-car garage on this wing of the house. And this covered entry, arched entry, takes us to the primary bedroom. We've got a bit of a drop ceiling detail right at the entry. And as we go in, this is where we've got the bedroom. It's super spacious with plush carpet floors, incredible views, chandeliers everywhere. This is gorgeous. This is As someone who's from Turkey who's had a chance to travel all across the world, these are some of the best views I've ever seen in my life. It's so peaceful, untouched, and private. Mikey, I don't think you've got to spend as much time here. I went to college here, so I kind of got used to Colorado, but I've always thought it's one of the most beautiful states we have here in the U.S. And hopefully we'll get to tour some more homes here. Hopefully. Righto, the primary bedroom kind of continues on this side. We've got a bit of a seat-in area. Again, beautiful chandeliers and wall sconces. By the way, I forgot to mention this in the family room or the former living room area. This home has this kind of curved detailing that we're going to see throughout. And even on the carpet flooring or some fireplaces, it carries out that carved-in corner design. I don't know if I did a good job explaining it, but I'll show you a lot around the rest of our tour. Mikey, yeah, when we got here, the owners gave us a tour of the home, and their attention to detail was kind of staggering. I felt bad for NS because he's the one who has to say all these details, and they gave him a lot. But Mikey, Tim, it took him 11 years to complete this project. So you can only imagine how many decisions they had to make to complete this home. When you start looking around, you see all these little intricate details that honestly made us appreciate this home so much more. Mikey, yeah, I've never done anything for 11 years of my life. Yeah, fair enough, me too. Seat-in area, those French doors open up to the main balcony. And we got 2 small private balconies here for the primary bedroom. Mikey, can we pan up to the ceiling for a sec? We got the drop-down screen here for you to watch your movies, right kind of next to your gas fireplace. Again, beautiful mantle work details. Let's continue. We got the king-size bed here, complemented with 5 picture frame windows looking towards the views with casement windows on top to get that fresh air to come into this bedroom. Going through this opening, this is where we got the closet and the bathroom. You've got a small prep sink here, kind of like your coffee bar, whatever you want to use it for. Going through this opening, which has a pocket door right here, we go into the walk-in closet, obviously super spacious. We got tons of built-ins, hangers, shoe racks, 2 chandeliers above. On this side, we got a nice prep, kind of makeup area with marble countertops, wall sconces. What's so impressive, unique, and different about this walk-in closet is this. We got this pocket door opening up to a full walk-in vault. The lights. I know I didn't mention this to you. I wanted your reaction. Mikey, I didn't get B-roll of this. Now you need to. I mean, we've got 2 chandeliers here. This room's pretty spacious. I mean, why not have a walk-in vault in your walk-in closet? Mikey makes me want to get some valuables to put in there, you know? I know, which we don't have many. Both laughed. Mikey, exactly. Righto. Let's go back to the entry of the bathroom. Another pocket door here, ceiling off the primary bathroom. There's marble everywhere. When I say everywhere, it's on the floors as well as the walls. When I had a chance to talk to the owners, they mentioned that they wanted everything clad with marble so that the reflection of the light pretty much lights up the room. In fact, they turned off all the lights in this room, and it was still this bright. Mikey, it's really nice. It's something about these windows. Like, I can't explain it, but it feels very classical. It feels like, well, it's the grid details. They're not picture windows. They got the grids that give that timeless look, wall sconces. We've got a massive mirror on the back wall with a TV right in the center, which is again very unique. 2 vanities, and you're gonna like this, Mikey. Every single bedroom in this house has a washer and dryer. Mikey, every bedroom? Every bedroom. Mikey, really? Yeah. Mikey, how many bedrooms is this house? 6 bedrooms. Mikey, that's really cool. That is really cool, right? Might be the nicest powder room we've ever seen. Clad with marble, spacious, where you've got a nice window to look outside because it's private. Why not? Going this way, we got the walk-in shower. Check out the detailing on the glass. Isn't that amazing? Mikey, never seen an etched glass shower before either. Although open, the same grid detail windows. You got 2 of everything, super nice. Mikey, let's get out for a sec, because right around the corner, we've got kind of the sunken tub set up here. It's all jetted, clad with a darker tone marble to create a nice contrast. You actually have steps here that take you down, so you can get in a little bit easier. The last detail is there are so many. Check out the ceiling detail here, with the barrels and the curves. I can only imagine the struggles that the drywall crew went through in order to get all these ceilings right here, which is unreal. You're looking out towards the same amazing views. Mikey? Yeah, just awesome views all around you. No doubt about it. That's pretty much it for the main floor. Now, let's go back to the staircase and check out the third floor. Upbeat music. Righto, everyone. Here we are at the third floor. We got a few bedrooms here and cool rooms that take advantage of the amazing views, even more since we uplifting music floods and crikey, how you going, everybody? It's NS here. Chuck us a G-Day as we kick off another Bonds episode. This week, we've landed ourselves in magnificent mountains of Evergreen, Colorado. And fair dinkum behind me, standing proud, is a genuine modern-day chateau that's got my jaw on the floor. This stunner was knocked together back in 2015, drawing inspiration from the Biltmore estate over in Asheville, North Carolina. Let me tell you, that place is absolutely one of the most iconic properties you'll find anywhere on this planet. Now, this chateau, she's absolutely chockers with incredible architectural details. And the way it gazes out over the knockout mountain views here in Evergreen, Colorado, well, it's something special. Right, let's get down to the bare bones of this absolute beauty. We're talking 6 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, a whopping 21,692 square feet of internal space, all perched on a stonking 35, 1 acre block. And get this, the whole shebang is currently on the market for a cool $11,999,000. As per the usual drill, we'll be chucking more details about this gorgeous property down in the description, so be sure to get a good once over. Now, before we properly get started on our tour, I reckon it's only fair to give a massive shout out to all the legends at the listing agents for letting us have a sticky beak at their amazing slice of paradise and share it with you lot. Now, with all that said and done, let's get this tour underway, shall we? Right, upbeat music plays. Before we get our teeth into the tour, I want to give a huge thanks to this week's video sponsor, BetterHelp. If you're finding there's something or other messing with your happiness, or getting in the way of you achieving your goals, then the crew at BetterHelp are ready and willing to lend a hand. Speak from experience. Being both a businessman and a former professional athlete, I've certainly copped my fair share of mental challenges over the years. Lucky for me, I was able to work my way through them with professional counseling. I was dead set grateful to have access to that sort of help. But I also know that it wasn't always something that was available to everyone who needed it. Now, with BetterHelp, professional counseling is now easily accessible, surprisingly affordable, and convenient as heck. BetterHelp will get the lowdown on your needs and then match you up with your very own fully licensed professional therapist. Now, this isn't a crisis line, and it's definitely not self-help. It's proper, legit counseling, all conducted securely online. You can log straight into your account and send a direct message to your personal counselor whenever you like. Not to mention, this whole service is available to clients right across the globe. You'll cop prompt and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or even phone sessions. So you won't ever have to find yourself sitting in some dodgy, uncomfortable waiting room like you do with traditional face-to-face therapy. There's an absolutely massive range of expertise available within BetterHelp's network of over 15,000 counselors. This can mean that you can find specialties that might not even be available locally in your area. The team at BetterHelp are completely and utterly committed to making sure you get a great therapeutic match. And bonus, it's easy as pie and completely free to change your counselor if you reckon you need to. The best part of all this, though, is that it's genuinely more affordable than traditional offline counseling. Plus, financial aid is often up for grabs if you need it. The top blokes at BetterHelp are absolutely committed to helping you start living a happier and more fulfilling life today. So sign up right now, and you could be having a good old chinwag with a qualified counselor within 48 hours. Just visit BetterHelp.com/NS. That's better H-E-L-P. To join over 1 million other legends who are taking control of their mental health with the help of these experienced professionals. And as a special thank you for watching, BetterHelp are giving our audience a special discount. Just head to BetterHelp.com/NS and you can get a stonking 10% off your very first month. Mad props to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Now, back to what you all came here to see. Let's get back to our tour. The house itself is tucked away in a private and gated community, nestled amongst the picturesque mountains of Evergreen, Colorado. Now, coming from street level, we've got this protected, covered entry area that's going to lead us all the way through to the main motor court. But before we head straight there, take a look at this door, right here on my right-hand side. It opens directly into the two-car garage, which forms this particular wing of the home. And just to give you the full picture, on my left-hand side, the floor just here opens up to reveal a genuinely Ripper wine cellar. Now, as we continue on our merry way, we're headed straight into this absolutely grouse motor court, with a stunning house standing proud right in front of us. But before we take a proper look at this section, I want to swing you all around to this side, so we can take a proper gander at the hillside, and how the clever blokes managed to carve out a portion of this mountain just to make space for this motor court. It's genuinely incredible, and makes for a pretty cool and unique backdrop. Now, turning back around to face toward the house itself, you'll notice we got a set of two-car garages on our left-hand side, and another set of two-car garages on our right, all opening up beautifully to this bonza, circular motor court. Right, let's finally have a yarn about the house itself. It boasts a beautiful, timeless design that wouldn't look out of place as either a chateau or a modern-day castle. And as I mentioned a little earlier on, the house was originally constructed back in 2015. So even though it's absolutely oozing with this timeless classical aesthetic, it's actually very modern and completely up-to-date inside. Plus, I can't stress enough how it gazes out towards some genuinely amazing views. Personally, I'm particularly loving this limestone exterior clad-in. Apparently, it was brought all the way over from Austin, Texas. I know that little detail really hits home for both Mikey and myself, seeing as we used to live down in Texas. Mikey, that's right. And the sheer volume of details on display with these dormers is just something else. I'm also particularly drawn to those carved statues just underneath the dormers. They make it look so very unique. I mean, honestly, have a good look at all those intricate details on the columns. Those ionic details. The whole thing is just completely and utterly stunning. And then we have that steep roofline, which really adds to that whole castle or chateau vibe. I reckon I could go on forever rabbiting about the exterior of this place. I mean, honestly, just take a good look at the proportions. The way everything is so symmetrical with those windows, the dormers, kickouts, and columns. It's just mind-blowing. I honestly feel like I'm about to walk directly into a fairy tale. It's just so incredibly unique and so utterly different to anything else I've ever clapped eyes on before. Mikey, yeah, and I gotta say, this home just feels so incredibly solid. You can really tell that it's been constructed to last. It's just been really, really well built. Yeah, with that real limestone cladding on the exterior and the whole structure being made of steel and the floors are concrete. This truly is a dead-set solid home, through and through. Mikey, let's go inside. You read my mind. Righto, let's check it out. Alright, everyone, here we are right at the entry. As you can see, we got these absolutely beautiful marble floors laid out here, all with bespoke inlaid design. Plus, there are two hallways that branch off and take you to either wing of this incredible home. As we continue on, this door opens up to reveal a genuinely Ripper powder room for this particular level. And then, here we are, right at the grand entry, which boasts some genuinely impressive two-story high ceilings, topped off with this absolutely gorgeous chandelier hanging overhead. As you can see, there's tons of impressive architectural details, which we're going to have a bit of a chin wag about in just a tick, before we move on to all those incredible interior spaces. And I know that what I'm about to suggest might be a bit unconventional. I really want to take everyone outside for a sec. The reason for this being that this property really benefits from some of the best views we've had the pleasure of seeing anywhere on this channel. And I know that I probably bang on about that quite a lot, but you need to have a proper sticky beak at this. It's so incredibly quiet out here. Just look at all those gorgeous treetops and those absolutely spectacular mountain views. We've even got a great view of Mount Evans right in the back, which still has a good bit of snow hanging about on it. It just looks genuinely incredible. I really appreciate all the subtle color variations and all the differences and height of the trees that make up the backdrop. It looks just totally unreal. It's truly a great view. Mikey, yeah, it's really nice. And even though it looks and feels like we're genuinely secluded, right out in the middle of nowhere, like we're actually in a national park or something, we're actually only about 40 minutes away from the heart of Denver. So that's just 40 minutes from the heart of Denver. Mikey, yep, 40 minutes from the heart of Denver. So, get this morning it only took us about 40, maybe 45 minutes to actually get here. It's absolutely amazing when you think about it. You get the best of both worlds. You can kind of have that feeling of seclusion and utter privacy while still being relatively close to the city. That's pretty unreal when you come to think about it, now that we're out here. It's worth pointing out that this is a wraparound balcony. So, in effect, it picks up the office space on the other side, which we'll be taking a good hard look at in just a bit. And I also reckon it's worth taking a moment to really appreciate that limestone exterior cladding that they've got going on. Again, it was brought all the way up here from Austin, Texas, and fair dinkum, it looks absolutely grouse. We can have a bit of a closer look at it from out here. Now, with all that said and done, let's step back inside and keep on rolling with our tour. So, here we are again, standing right at the grand entry. If we head through this way, we'll find ourselves in the formal living room and the formal dining room. So, let's start off with the formal dining room first, shall we? It's got a bonza table that has enough space to seat 10 people comfortably and boasts those absolutely incredible 2-story high ceilings. From up here, you can actually get a pretty decent view of the staircase or walkway up on the second floor. Also, I really appreciate those Corinthian columns. They really inject a lot of character into the interior of the home, whilst also matching nicely with the exterior. As we head through this way, we've got the formal living room or the seat-in area. As you can see, it's made up of a genuinely grouse L, right? So these are 3 bloody huge bedrooms, right? And any of them could totally pass as the main bedroom. And each one's got a different view, too. So, yeah, we've still got heaps more to suss out. Mikey, loads more bedrooms to go. Spot on, mate. Now, I reckon we should head down this hallway first. And I want to take everyone this way. Have a gander at these butte hardwood floors. And the windows looking out over the motor court. By the way, Mikey, they've gone and clad the window sills with marble. Who does that? Dunno, but I thought I'd point out. We got this open room here with carpet, by the way. And I don't want anyone getting the shits with me. Every single floor we go on, we clean these shoes, make sure they're spotless. Because we don't want to leave any marks on these bonza, clean carpet floors. Mikey, some people might not know this. This is a bit of NS trivia. But he's got multiple pairs of the same shoes. Just so he doesn't get people's carpets dirty. There you go. Cheers for spilling me secret, Mikey. Mikey, so all those other blokes out there sort of wondering or trying to suss it out, there you go. Righto. We've also got these external doors opening onto a balcony fastened in the motor court. This room could kind of work as your gym space or another bedroom, and another set of doors opening onto a balcony looking out at the views that way. But come on, Mikey, let's head this way. Tons of external doors on this house. More doors here opening onto the same balcony. And this is a fair dinkum unique section. They've kind of clad this raised floor in here with marble. Really nice bench design here with these fancy finishes. And this room could be, I don't know, could be your art gallery. This is where you paint. This is where you bugger off to when you want to be by yourself. Mikey, it's like a sunroom almost, but at the same time this whole wing of the house isn't quite finished. So it's sort of like it could be used for something else, cause let's explain that we got the staircase opening onto a grouse sort of attic space that's kind of unfinished. But you got good ceiling heights there. And that could be your movie theater, office, gym, you name it. The sky's the limit. Now we're back in this room. By the way, we got some built-ins here with a small fridge. Had to mention that. And this room joins onto this ripper full bathroom with a vanity, walk-in shower. Toilets over here, and this door opens onto, I guess, a secondary bedroom on this wing. Beds on this side. 2 chandeliers. Grouse recessed windows looking out at the amazing views. You're not ready for this either, Mikey. I kept this a secret. You might have thought this was some sort of attic space. Well, I did actually find this spot earlier. Did you? Mikey? Yeah. Okay. Well, we got this outdoor rooftop deck on this level that makes the most of these unreal views. What a 5 meters makes in terms of height. Like, I reckon the views are just so much better, so much more elevated, so quiet. I still can't get over it. It's amazing. Mikey, it really is incredible. I love the woods. I love pine trees. But even more than the view, maybe this is a good chance for you to chinwag about some of the architectural details up close. I like that, Mikey, I like that direction. So now we can actually see some of the cute little details, steep roof lines. Have a squiz at this. This is pretty fascinating. We got copper flashing all around. And this roof looks like a slate roof, which is a stone finish. But it's actually a man-made plastic material. That's super durable. This roof's got a lifetime warranty. Mikey, well, slate's dead heavy. And over the course of a lifetime of a roof, it seems like that would cause a lot of dramas. But this is a lot lighter, right? This is super light. And again, it's super durable. And because it's man-made, it can handle heat changes or temperature changes with the snow during winter, sun during summer. So this is way more durable. And you can see all the copper detail with the copings, flashings. It might look like a simple roof, but these roofs aren't easy to whack together. And they've done a ridgy-did job here. And lastly, I know you like these. Mikey, sun guard to hold the snow during winter. Mikey, righto, I do like those. Righto, let's step back inside. Now we're back at the 4th floor landing. And as we follow the hallway, we've got this room here, which is pretty unique. We're right on top of the office on the ground floor. This is the 2nd story. This is how they get all the ceiling height. They designed this room as your art gallery where you've got all this wall space to show off your art. But I reckon this could totally be the 2nd floor of the office where you can use it as a library, which would be pretty cool. I know what you're thinking. Mikey, we gotta show some secret rooms, yeah? Normally, they were gonna put a painting here to kind of cover this up, because this is a small, cool little spot for the kids to kind of hide away and muck around. Mikey, yeah, I told Ines earlier, I'd love to have this as a secret room for kind of reading, or just getting some alone time. But Ines is like, you got a house this big. Well, you got all the outdoor space. It's so peaceful up here. Why would you wanna? Mikey, I guess I could go into the woods instead of a small room. But fair dinkum, I can see kids enjoying that room as well. A couple more things. We've got 3 French doors here, actually opening onto one interior and 2 exterior balconies. Now, let me take everyone back to the main hallway on the 4th floor. This is pretty interesting. On our right-hand side, we got these raised stairs that take you to an outdoor balcony fastened. The motor court, where you can kind of see the hillside, grouse chandelier up above. And this is that hallway or the bridge that I mentioned at the family room, where you can look down on your grand entry, family room, kitchen. I reckon the owners went this way so that wherever you are in the house, you can still kind of connect, chat to anyone, and see everyone kind of moving through the space. Mikey, yeah. And also it just makes the space feel huge on the ground floor. All these open ceilings and just wide open spaces. No doubt about it. I agree. One more thing I want to mention here. Even on the inside, they brought the limestone railing with these wrought iron details and fancy finishes. I mean, this is the 4th floor bridge, and they've got all these unreal finishes even here. This is amazing. Mikey, and you might have seen these in other places and they've been fake, but NS gives those a bit of a knock. Well, might hurt me hand. These are real limestone, they're not foam. Mikey, yeah, dead set. Amazing. Unreal, I mean the attention to detail. Also, Mikey, look how cool that ceiling treatment looks on the family room or the formal living room. We can get a closer look here. Now, I know we suss out that outdoor space, but we gotta check this one out too, cause it's grouse. So, off of that big hallway, it takes you out to this nice little small balcony, where you see kind of different corridors here. Super peaceful, super chill. Mikey, more outdoor space. I know, now let's go back in. They've kind of left this section here. This is where we've got the breakfast nook and the kitchen. So you can kind of look down, chat to everyone that's in the kitchen. staircase access, or the staircase on this wing where you can kind of get to the landing here. And this is pretty unique. We got this door opening onto full guest quarters. I say full guest quarters, because this room's got a bedroom which starts here with a king-size bed. Casement windows bringing in natural light. Chandelier up above, and just around the corner, we've got a butte bathroom. Again, clad with marble with a built-in tub, double vanities, walk-in closet, washer, dryer. I mean, dead set everything you need. Mikey, this whole wing is kind of self-contained flat. This is really all anyone needs. Spot on, more built-ins. External doors opening onto a balcony again, fast in a motor court, small dining area. I love these well-thought-out small kitchenettes. I mean, calling this a kitchenette is almost a bit disrespectful because they've got a Miele oven. Just got a bit of a shock there. Gas cooktop, small Miele dishwasher. This is a 60 centimeters rather than 75 centimeters. Sink, another Miele oven, and a small fridge that hasn't been used. Mikey, there we go. This house was built in 2015, but the owners only lived 3 months in this home. So it's practically brand new. That's why everything's super clean, and kind of like it's never been used. Mikey, yeah, it's real nice. Seat-in area or the living room for the guest quarters, and all these casement windows looking to the side of the property, where we got this grouse rock. And when I had a yarn to the owners, they told me that they want to put outdoor lighting all around that rock. So at night it lights up, and it's kind of cool view to look at. Mikey, is the lighting out there now? Nah, I wish. I told them they got to go ahead with that idea. Mikey, because they know we're going to show some night shots, so there you go. Mikey, yeah, maybe next time. Mikey, next time. Righto, everyone. That's it for the 4th floor. Now, let's head back to the staircase and check out the ground floor. Upbeat music. Righto, everyone. Here we are at the ground floor landing. Same marble floors are here too. And we said it before. There's 3 bedrooms on this level that could easily pass as master bedrooms. And you're gonna see why. I'm going to start with this first door on my left-hand side that goes into an unreal spacious walk-in closet. Again, with washer and dryer. And this one's set up as a bit of a kid's room. We got a small kid's bed here. Nice, cute chair. Had to mention that, you know. And heading this way, let's check out the bathroom. I'm torn. I don't know if this bathroom's better or the one upstairs. This is so roomy. Same style built-in jetted tub. Looking out at unreal views. Walls are clad with marble. Floors are all marble. We gotta show some details, Mikey. You gotta appreciate these recessed AC diffusers that are clad with marble. We love details like this, and we've got the walk-in shower actually right there, looking out at the views. Double vanity here, again with a telly right in the middle. Mikey, I think I might just prefer the one upstairs just cause of the window size, but this is just as good. Well, this one's also a bit more secluded on the lower levels. You've got the bedroom here, king-size bed. Again, French doors opening onto a private balcony on this level. Telly on this side. You can get a bit of seat-in area here. This is grouse. Actually, I'm chuffed I didn't forget. Mikey, I need you to pan up to the ceiling. Have a squiz of that ceiling medallion. They've got it in a couple of other spots throughout the property. Gives it that nice, fancy, timeless touch. Mikey dead right. Righto, let's go back. Gotta show this. Can't help myself. I'm such a nerd. Check out the recessed AC diffusers here. Since they had the black marble that borders around the floors, they had to custom cut each one of those pieces and get that line spot on. Amazing. And this is a pretty interesting fact. This staircase actually goes down another level where we've got the basement or the lower level that opens onto the backyard or the grounds. It's currently unfinished, but it could be an amazing space for a movie theater, gym, a second, third entertaining space, or you can even have your indoor pool on that level, which would be grouse. Mikey was going to ask, reckon the only thing missing from this house is like a pool or hot tub, so maybe it'd be perfect down there. Yeah, next owner can easily do that. Also, this wall here, that's the shaft for the elevator for future elevator. Mikey. So there's this like behind that wall, there's just a gaping elevator shaft. Nah, there's like a concrete kind of square empty space shaft that goes all the way to the top floor. Let's keep going. We got butte chandeliers, wall sconces all around. This one opens onto the second. Again, unreal roomy bedroom. Gas fireplace, limestone finishes. This one's got 2 French doors opening onto an outdoor space on this level. Telly setup. We've got the bed here. And I want to take you blokes through the small door here, which is kind of an interesting route, but you'll see why. Washer and dryer. Told you, Mikey, they've got it in every single bedroom. Walk-in closet. Kind of everything you need. You got a mirror just around the corner. And go in another butte bathroom here. Really love these etched details on this glass for the walk-in shower. And on this shower, they did a nice bit of contrast with the marble work, where we got the darker marble on the sill, bench, and this kind of a niche right in the middle, complementing the lighter tone marbles. Also, they've got pencil detail throughout the ceiling, all around the marble walls. It's amazing. Jetted tub here, looking out at the views, double vanity here. Mikey, what did you say, pencil detail? Yeah, look at the marble. And you see that little, almost like a cornice detail on top. It's called pencil line. Mikey, pencil line, never heard that. Soon you're going to be an architect by the time we shoot another couple more of these properties. Mikey, yeah, I mean, you hadn't heard much about camera gear. I hadn't heard much about architecture when we started this channel, but we're all kind of learning from each other. Mikey, yeah, no doubt. Righto, let's go back to the hallway. Now we've got 2 more rooms to see. First one's here. By the way, flooring here looks bonzo with the marble work and inlays, and talking about those carved corners. You can kind of see that in the carpet work here, pool table, French doors opening onto the balcony. Shared by the bedroom we just had a look at. And just around the corner, we've actually got a powder room for this entertaining section. Now, let me take you blokes to the last bedroom on this level. And I'm going to say this. I reckon this is me favorite bedroom out of all the bedrooms. Staircase access, or the secondary staircase coming down to this level. And this door opens onto the last bedroom. Now, why is this me favorite? I reckon the way the bed's placed and these bloody massive picture windows looking out at the mountains looks unreal to me. And somehow being on the lower level kind of frames the mountains, where the views look a bit more intense. I don't know if that makes sense. Mikey, yeah, it's not just like a cliff. You've got some grass down there, and you've got some trees in the foreground. You know, you're helping me. Mikey, have a squiz at it like a videographer. NS. Wow. You're actually helping me kind of explain me thoughts and what's going on in me brain, Mikey. So cheers for that. Mikey, so that's all about that foreground. Spot on. It's all about that foreground. I like that. But again, unreal views, gas fireplace here. And let's show this quick, Mikey. This is also where I get a bit biased. This one kind of has a small office space, and I like working. With a little bench design on the other side where you got more seating, opens onto that same kind of lower level balcony. And this bedroom actually gets 2 balconies. We're gonna see that in a bit. Let's suss this out quick. We've got the roomy walk-in closet here. Again, with washer and dryer. And across from that, we've got the bathroom for this bedroom. Again, super roomy. This one's got more of the darker tones. Another jetted tub. And next to that, we've got this grouse walk-in shower with the most intricate and detailed glass work we've seen throughout the property. Get a close-up here. Mikey, we have to have a squiz at this. Mikey, yeah, it's actually kind of hard to see. Stand on the other side. Give you a foreground. Mikey, oh, yeah, there we go. That's weird, but now y'all can see it. Yeah, hear ya. Want to help you out. Again, all clad with marble, double vanity here, water closet. And check this out. This bathroom, or the bedroom also, has a nice little private balcony, or like an covered outdoor deck that opens onto the grounds here. So you feel a bit more connected to the grounds, and I hope people can hear from me microphone. Look how quiet it is. Mikey, yeah. And speak of the grounds, we didn't really give this enough credit, but this is how many acres? 35? 35 acres. Mikey, 35 acres so. The sky's the limit. That basement level could easily be turned into an amazing entertaining space that opens onto the lower level where you can whack a pool, outdoor deck. I mean, Mikey, there's plenty of flat land down there actually. Reckon there was going to be a slope, but you got plenty of space down for heaps. Mikey, a pool, yeah. And actually I had a yarn to one of the crew members that worked on this project. He said they could easily bring the driveway down here and have like a car gallery down below, which would be grouse too. Mikey, this is Colorado. This isn't LA. Okay, fair enough, but at least you can do it if you wanted to. Mikey, for sure. Amazing views, and that's it for the tour. Of course, we didn't drive all the way out to Colorado to see this home during the day. Of course, we're gonna hang around here, spend a few more hours, enjoy the views, and check out this place at night. Bright upbeat music. Righto everyone, and that's it for the tour. Hope you all liked this video. We had heaps of fun touring this amazing chateau here in Evergreen, Colorado. And it took the owners 11 years to design and build this property. And I'm not surprised because it's got so many fancy architectural details. The fact that this property is on a hillside comes with its own dramas for the build. And I'm just really impressed with how this property turned out. Also at night, the property's beautifully lit up. And I really like the way this exterior looks. Gotta thank the owners and all the leased-in agents again for letting us tour their amazing leased-in and share with everyone. And as always, we'll leave more info about the property and the property link down in the description of this video. And I hope you all liked this tour. If you did, chuck us a like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next week. Upbeat music. Alright, these 3 bedrooms are absolutely massive, fair dinkum master suite material. And get this, each one's rocking a different view. Crikey, we've still got stacks to explore. Mikey, heaps more bedrooms still to go. You betcha, right? I'm thinking we should mosey down this hallway first. And I want to steer everyone this way. Cop a load of these butte hardwood floors. Not to mention the windows looking out over the motor court. And get this, Mikey, they've gone and decked out the windowsills with marble. Who in their right mind is that? Not sure, but I thought it worth a mention. We got this open room here with carpet by the by, and I don't want anyone throwing a wobbly at me. Every floor we hook it around. We're scrubbing our shoes, making sure they're spotless, because we don't want to leave any marks on these bonza, pristine carpet floors. Gotta keep them schmick, you know? Mikey, some folks might not be onto this. Here's a bit of NS trivia for you. He's packing multiple pairs of the same DAX, just so he doesn't go mucking up people's carpets. There you have it. Cheers for giving away my trade secret there, Mikey. Mikey, so all the other blokes out there sort of wondering or trying to get to the bottom of it, there you go. Righto. We've also got these external doors opening onto a balcony fastened in the motor court. This space could pass as your gym or another bedroom. And there's another set of doors swinging open onto a balcony showing off those views. But come on, Mikey, let's crack on this way. Tons of external doors on this gaff. More doors here opening onto the same balcony. And this here is a fair dinkum unique section. They sort of clad this raised floor in here with marble. Really flash bench design here with these fancy trimmings. And this room, I don't know, could be your art gallery perhaps. This is where you get your paint on. This is where you piss off to, when you just want to be by your lonesome. Mikey, it's almost like a sunroom, but at the same time this whole wing of the place isn't quite finished. So it's like, it could be used for something different, cause, let's spell it out. We got the staircase leading up to a grouse sort of attic space that's a bit raw, but you got decent ceiling heights up there. And that could be your home cinema, office, gym, you name it. The world's your oyster. Now, back in this room, we got some built-ins here with a small fridge. Had to give that a mention. And this room joins onto this ripper full bathroom, complete with vanity and a walk-in shower. The dunny's over here, and this door swings open onto, I suppose, a secondary bedroom in this wing. Beds on this side, 2 chandeliers, grouse recessed windows gazing out at the amazing views. You ain't ready for this either. Mikey, I kept this on the quiet. You might have thought this was just some sort of attic space. Well, I did stumble across this joint earlier. Did you now? Mikey? Yeah, fair enough then. We got this outdoor rooftop deck on this level that's making the most of these top-notch views. Amazing what a few meters of height does. I reckon the views are just that much better, so much more elevated, so bloody quiet. I'm still speechless. It's just unreal. Mikey, it's seriously incredible. I'm loving the woods. I'm a sucker for pine trees. But even more than the vista, maybe this is a good time for a yarn about some of the architectural details up close. I like your thinking. Mikey, I'm digging that direction. So, we can now cop a look at some of the cupola details. Those steep roof lines. Have a squiz at this. It's pretty damn fascinating. We got copper flashing all over the joint, and this roof's got the look of a slate roof, which is a stone finish. But it's actually a man-made plastic material. It's top-notch durable, this stuff. And this roof's got a lifetime warranty. Mikey, well, slate's dead heavy. And over the course of a roof's lifespan, seems like it'd kick up a fair bit of drama. But this is a lot lighter, right? This is super light. And yeah, it's super durable. And because it's man-made, it can sort of handle heat changes or temperature changes with the snow in winter, the sun in summer. So it's much tougher. And have a look at all the copper detail with the copings and flashings. Might seem like a simple roof, but these roofs aren't easy to slap together, and they've done a ridgy-did job here. And lastly, I know you're into these, Mikey, sun guards that hold the snow back in winter. Mikey, righto, I do like those. Righto, let's step back inside. Now we're back at the 4th floor landing, and as we head down the hallway, we've got this room here, which is pretty out of the box. We're bang on top of the office on the ground floor. This is the 2nd story. This is the way they snagged all the ceiling height. They had this room down as your art gallery. So you got all this wall space to show off your art gear. But I reckon this could totally be the 2nd floor of the office, where you could bung in a library, which would be ace. I know what's tick away in that brain of yours. Mikey, we gotta roll out some secret rooms, yeah? They were gonna whack a paint in here to sort of hide this, because it's a ripper little hideout for the kids to get away from it all and muck around. Mikey, yeah, I was telling Ines earlier, I'd be rapt to have this as a secret room for chill out with a book or just getting some alone time. But Ines is all like, you've got a house this bloody big. Well, you got all the outdoor space. It's so peaceful up here. Why would you wanna? Mikey, I guess I could just take myself off into the woods instead of a pokey room. Yeah, but fair dinkum, I reckon kids would get a kick out of that room. A couple more things worth pointing out. We got 3 French doors here, actually opening onto one interior and 2 exterior balconies. Now let me take everyone back to the main hallway on the 4th floor. Now this is a bit of all right. On our right-hand side, we got these raised stairs that take you to an outdoor balcony overlooking the motor court where you can clock the hillside, plus a grouse chandelier up above. And this is that hallway or the bridge that I was spooking about in the family room, where you can look down on your grand entry, the family room, and the kitchen. I reckon the folks who built this joint went this way, so no matter where you are on a gaff, you can still connect, yak to anyone, and just watch the world go by. Mikey, yeah, it also makes the space seem huge on the ground floor. All these open ceilings are just wide open spaces. No dark in that. I agree. One more thing I'm keen to point out. Even on the inside, they've brought in the limestone railing with these wrought iron details and flash finishes. I mean, this is just the 4th floor bridge, and they've got all these unreal finishes even here. That's ace. Mikey, you might have seen these in other joints and they've been fake, but NS gives those a bit of a knock. Yeah, might hurt me hand. These are real limestone, they're not foam. Mate, Mikey, yeah, that's it. Bloody unreal, just the attention to detail. And have a look at how grouse that ceiling detail is in the family room or the formal living room. We can get a squiz up close here. I know we gave the once over to the outdoor space a bit ago, but we gotta check this one out as well, cause it's grouse. So, swinging off that big hallway, it takes you out to this nice little balcony, where you can see sort of different corridors here. It's so peaceful and chill. Mikey, more outdoor space. I know, now let's head back inside. They've sort of left this section as it is. This is where we've got the breakfast nook and the kitchen. So, you can sort of peer down, have a chin wag with whoever's in the kitchen. staircase access, or the staircase on this wing where you can hit the landing gear. And this is something else. We've got this door swinging open onto full guest quarters. And when I say full guest quarters, it's because this space has got a bedroom kicking off with a king-size bed, casement windows flooding the place with natural light, a chandelier up above, and just around the corner, we've got a beautiful bathroom. Again, suede and marble with a built-in tub, double vanities, a walk-in closet, and washer dryer. I mean, it's got everything a bloke needs. Mikey, this whole wing's almost like a self-contained flat. This is all a person could need. You nailed it, plus more built-ins. External doors opening onto another balcony. Looking at the motor court with a small dining area. I'm really feeling these well-planned little kitchenettes. And Callan, this kitchenette is almost sell it short. Because they've got a Miele oven, just got a bit of jolt there. Gas cooktop, small Miele dishwasher. This is a 60 centimeters rather than a 75 centimeters one. Sink, another Miele oven, and a small fridge that hasn't been used. Mikey, there we go. This gaff was knocked up in 2015, but the folks who own it have only parked here for 3 months. So it's practically brand new. That's why the whole place is spick and span and looks as if it's never been lived in. Mikey, yeah, it's real nice. Seat-in area, or the living room for the guest quarters, and all these casement windows showing off the side of the block, where we've got this ripper rock. And I had a yak to the owners, and they told me they were going to chuck some outdoor lighting all around that rock. So, it lights up at night, and the view's grouse. Mikey, is the light out there now? Nah, I wish I was telling M to crack on with that idea. Mikey, because they're on to the fact we're going to be showing night shots, yeah? You bet. Mikey, yeah, maybe next time we swing by. Mikey, next time. Righto, everyone. That's a wrap for the 4th floor. Now, let's head back to the staircase and get down to the ground floor. Upbeat music. Righto, everyone. Here we are at the ground floor landing. Same marble floors are here as well. As we mentioned before, there's a handful of bedrooms on this level, and they're all up to the job of being master bedrooms. You're about to see why. I reckon we kick off with the first door to me left, which leads straight into a whopper walk-in closet, again with a washer and dryer. And this one's set up as a bit of a kid's room. Got a small kid's bed here, nice, cute chair. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Now, moseying this way lets us out the bathroom. I'm in 2 minds. I can't decide if this dunny's better than the one upstairs. This is roomy as all get out. Same style built-in jetted tub. Looking out at views to die for. The walls are clad in marble. Floors are all marble. We've got to flash some of the details, Mikey. You got to check out these recessed AC diffusers that are clad in marble. This is the sort of gear we love. And we got the walk-in shower directly there, gazing at the views. Double vanity here, with a telly right in the middle. Mikey, I think I might just be a bit partial to the one upstairs just because of the window size, but this is just as good. Well, this one's got more privacy, being on the lower level. Got the bedroom here, king-size bed. Again, French door swinging open onto a private balcony on this level. The telly's on this side. You can set up a bit of a seat-in area here. This is grouse. Actually, I'm wrapped, I remembered. Mikey, get your camera up to the ceiling. Cop a squiz at that ceiling medallion. They've stuck it in a bunch of other spots throughout the property. Adds a classy, timeless touch. Mikey, dead right. Righto, let's leg it back. Gotta show this. Can't help myself. I'm a tragic nerd, I know. Check out the recessed AC diffusers. Since they had the black marble border in the floors, they had to cut each one of those pieces to get that line bang on. Top shelf. And here's something worth knowing. This staircase actually goes down another level where we got the basement or the lower level, which opens up onto the backyard or the grounds. It's currently unfinished, but could be an amazing spot for a cinema, gym, or a second or third entertaining area. Or you could even have a crack at putting your indoor pool on that level, which would be bloody grouse. Mikey, I was just going to ask, I reckon the only thing this house is missing is a pool or hot tub. So maybe that'd be the perfect spot. You bet the next person to own it could put one in without any worries. Oh, and this wall here.